Alright guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. A bit late on this, but there was a new stage of boss rush that was added to the game with this current celebration here. This is boss rush stage 16. Okay, and we're on in Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, STR Full Power Bojack, AGL Pikkon, Tech Janemba, and then AGL UI Goku. So Boss Rush is still only going up to the 6th anniversary. Boss Rush, when it, people probably weren't around back when this, first debuted. But when Boss Rush was first out, it was very difficult because back then, Dokkan events pretty much were the difficult content of the game back when Boss Rush actually did debut. And, just throughout the years, it's just sort of become like a thing that we can, use to just get stones during big celebrations. That's pretty much all Boss Rush is at this point in time, right? What I typically do for these Boss Rush stages is I will just sort of like, just use the new LRs and, sort of talk about them while we just destroy these stages, right? So I just brought like an all types lead team, and we're going to rock a rotation of STR Final Form Cooler, and then we're going to have LR Metal Cooler, and then the other rotation will have Carnival Goku, and then of course the Goku and Vegeta, the four main headliner like LRs for the celebration. I think they're all very good. Kit-wise, I think the units are strong. I think, like, aesthetic-wise, like, animations and stuff like that, I do think they're very, like, very well done. Like, it's very good. I actually don't have, any issues, I think, with the way these characters, were sort of, like introduced, right? Like, it's funny, leading up to the download celebration, I was saying that I thought, that, like, a Cooler and Super Saiyan Goku could be good for sort of like a dual Dokkan Fest for one of these celebrations, and I feel like this celebration was really good. Like, I feel like it's justified that, giving Cooler and, this Goku from that movie sort of the spotlight, it did work out, I think, rather well. I mean, I still kind of think that next year, they could really go crazy, and they could actually give us, I think, Super Saiyan Goku for the 3rd year in a row, and all they would have to do for this 3rd year in a row, though, would just be, I think, the Broly movies, right? Because the funny thing is, even though there are characters that have come out sort of like after, I guess, the kind of good animations began in Dokkan, if you compare, like, this Final Form Cooler's animations to units that came out in, like, 2019 and stuff like that, they could redo some of these animations easily, right? Like, I just feel like there would be no issues with it. I think a perfect example of that, actually, would be the LR Goku, Gohan, and Goten, the Family Kamehameha unit. I mean, it's only LR, Gohan, and Goten, right? But I feel like they could drop, like, an LR that's all 3 of them together, Goku, Gohan, and Goten, with better animations, right? Because if you look at the animation for the active skill, the Family Kamehameha, it doesn't, like, it's not really that great. The animations for that LR overall are not super crazy, right? Because, like, even the 12 key animation is just, like, their generic Kamehameha and stuff like that. So I think what they could do very easily, right, is just go ahead and, like redo that. Just make that a character, right? And then Broly, the funny thing is that I think Broly is like a ridiculously like easy go-to option they could pick for like a big like Dokkan Fest LR or Carnival LR or one of those types of things, right? Like they could make one that's like really, really nasty, I think, very easily. But like Broly from that first Dragon Ball Z movie, there is actually so much that they could still use, right? Honestly, even the second Broly movie, right? When you consider, like, how these animations look right here, like, so much of just, like, Dragon Ball history, like, they could take for, sort of, like, good animations. Broly has sort of, like, that, like, when Paragus is possessing him, he has kind of, like, that just sort of, like, like, the blue-haired sort of, like, controlled Super Saiyan version that Paragus does, I think we could easily see that character actually sort of like introduced, right? Currently, there is one card for that, like sort of like, you know, Paragus controlled Broly. I think that they could very easily, right, like drop that. That one card, it's actually, so there's, from the Broly Dokkan event, we can get an SR base form Broly, right? Then he Dokkan awakens into Super Saiyan Broly, which is that sort of like blue-haired version. And then furthermore from that, he is able to get a Dokkan Awakening into actually, you know, Super Saiyan 3 Broly, right? It is so weird how they kind of use that character to have him Dokkan Awaken into Super Saiyan 3, but like it would be so easy, I think, to sort of like go and, you know, just like make those versions of Broly just like big Dokkan Fest, like LRs, Carnival characters, right? I do think those are the type of characters that would be really popular and I think would work really well as like a main like celebration headliner. And sure, maybe some people would be disappointed at another major Super Saiyan Goku, but, you know, I don't know about y'all, but I've still found, like, Namek Goku, it's not like it's like, oh, you know, now we, you know, like, Carnival LR Goku is out, it's like Namek Goku is just completely dead. Like, I've still used Namek Goku in, you know, many red zone stages and many situations still. Like, they could just do it again. And it's like, if you look at that Super Saiyan Goku, who finishes Broly off in the first movie with sort of like that, I don't know, the Spirit Bomb punch or the Energy punch or whatever it is that he does. Like that, I think that would be a really, really awesome unit that they could drop, that I feel like people would be really excited about to pull, is that Goku from the Broly movies. I think they could do that. I mean, honestly, if you go through so many of the movies, I feel like many of the movies just have stuff that they really could still examine. Resurrection F, we did just, you know, get, like, basically LR Golden Frieza and Goku and Vegeta from that movie, so they did kind of clear that, but there is still, I feel like they could, you know, take, like, Gohan and stuff like that, Piccolo, potentially from that movie, Master Roshi, and sort of, you know, make, like, actual cards of them. And then, of course, there is the Resurrection F anime arc, where we could get Gotenks, and then don't forget, I mean, Ginyu Force fans, remember, Tagoma gets taken over in the Dragon Ball Super anime by Ginyu. So they could bring out like a Tagoma, like Ginyu, like, you know, possessed type character, which could be very, very interesting to see, right? A Ginyu Force buff, I don't think anyone would be upset about. For Battle of Gods, I do feel like they very easily could just do like a dual Dokkan, probably dual Dokkan Fest, like almost LRs, right? For Beerus and God Goku. God Goku's been one of the more popular picks. You know, it's like, all right, everyone, what do we think the next Dokkan Fest is? God Goku has become one of the most popular picks, people say constantly now at this point, right? So, I do think we potentially could see God Goku end up being, you know, like a major sort of like Dokkan Fest or something like that. It definitely, I think, could happen, right, with God Goku. I don't know how much they could take from the Battle of Gods movie. I guess there is some stuff, right? Like, they could make, like, an Ultimate Gohan from Battle of Gods and stuff, but I don't... Like, if we're gonna get Ultimate Gohan at this point, like, of course, the Ultimate Gohan that we need to get is the one from Dragon Ball Super Superhero, right? That's gonna be really sick. We get all the superhero stuff is still gonna happen. What other movies could they still do? The Wrath of Dragon, right? The Dragon Fist one. Hirudegarn and, like, Hoi, I think, could get, like, some sort of units or something like that. Goku with the Dragon Fist is not represented with good animations in Dokkan. I think a Dragon Fist Super Saiyan 3 Goku would go really crazy still. Let's see, so... Bio Broly, I think, could get a character. I know it might seem rather stupid, right, to say, like, oh, Bio Broly, but Bio Broly could get a character, right? Like, it's not like Bio Broly could get a character. I think Dr. Wheelo could get a character from the second Dragon Ball Z movie as well. Dr. Wheelo and Dr. Kochin from the second Dragon Ball Z movie is the only one that's virtually untouched. I guess there's also Path to Power, which is sort of like the drag. Oh, we get to see Cooler's nullification. Okay. I've never seen a nullification more often, like one of these unarmed nullifications, than I have on Cooler. I've actually gotten that so much, Cooler's nullification. It's crazy to think about, right? Because it's like, all these other characters, like, I've never really gotten their nullifications. You know, the ones that have unarmed, right? So, like, Kid Buu, and then also, like, LR Tech Gogeta and stuff like that. But Metal Coolers, I actually have gotten quite a bit, which is definitely pretty fun right there. Here, we'll just go ahead and finish off with Carnival Goku right here. But yeah, there's still a lot for them to go to, right? I do think we could probably even get... So, we have a Garlic Jr. In Dokkan right now, but it's not the Garlic Jr. from the movie, right? It's Garlic Jr. from the like his return in the anime arc. So I feel like they could give us like a Garlic Jr. from that movie. They could probably give us some sort of Gohan too, some kid Gohan. I guess we could use a kid Gohan. The only thing about kid Gohan, we already do have 2 LR Kid Gohans. I mean, that doesn't mean anything, right? Like, they could easily drop a million more. What do we have? We have the 2 free-to-play LR Kid Gohans. We have the Super Battle Road reward from 500 years ago, and then there is the Prime Battle Kid Gohan as well. I do think that the Tech Icarus Kid Gohan could still get an easy A. Honestly, kind of surprising, I would say, that Icarus Kid Gohan actually did not easy during this worldwide download celebration, right? Like, I feel like they could have easy him during this celebration, right? Nice little movie hero buff. And I think the AGL Kid Gohan, he's still useful, he's still runnable, right? With his very powerful active skill, which can give him guard and, you know, raise his allies' defense. He, of course, is a defensive stacking character, and then he also has got the support. All of those factors together do make that Kid Gohan still a pretty formidable option, I would say, actually, you know, in a lot of content. But some sort of powerful Kid Gohan that took down Garlic Jr. would work. So I've always thought about this. So the second Dragon Ball Z movie, the third Dragon Ball Z movie, so the second one is World's Strongest, you know, with Dr. Wheel, Dr. Cochin. The third Dragon Ball Z movie is against Turles. And then the fourth Dragon Ball Z movie is against Lord Slug. The Turles movie's pretty well represented in terms of Turles himself. Right, Turles has gotten a number of cards, although they probably could still drop another Turles very easily, right? But especially the heroes in the Turles movie have virtually no representation whatsoever. I think that, you know, because those 3 movies, the second, third, and fourth, they end pretty much in exactly the same way, which is Goku finishing the boss off with the Spirit Bomb, right? Like, all of them pretty much go the exact same way. They could do, like, a Dokkan Fest base Goku who sort of does, like, the Spirit Bomb, like, from you know, you could pick it from any of the 3 movies. I would say the Spirit Bomb that looks the best is probably from World's Strongest of the 3, but, you know, you could essentially sort of get a Goku from kind of those first 3 movies. Again, I think that would actually probably work pretty well, getting a Goku from any of those movies to actually, like sort of happen. And then, you know, everyone always wants to talk about the Lord Slug movie and the false Super Saiyan that Goku does in that movie. The thing is, what that was just Toei's interpretation of what Super Saiyan was, right? Because at the time they made the Lord Slug movie, right, like the Namek saga was ongoing, and Vegeta's blabbering about Super Saiyan all the time, right? So Toei just kind of like, you know, that was sort of like their interpretation of Super Saiyan. And then after Toriyama officially revealed it, right, then they sort of, you know, like, that's why that, like, full Super Saiyan Goku is not in Heroes. He's in virtually nothing, right? And the one representation we have from the Slug movie in terms of hero class character, right, is that Kaioken Goku. We do also have a free-to-play Kid Gohan from the movie, but there is that Kaioken Goku, right? The STR free-to-play Easy A one. So, like, they could easily drop maybe like a Dokkan Fest Kaioken Goku from that movie. And, you know, perhaps, like, the attacks that full Super Saiyan does, they would just apply to, like, Kaioken Goku. I think we could see that, right? Like, we know how Dokkan operates, right? Like, they definitely love, like, they're not going to pass up the opportunity to utilize these animations, but I think they'll probably do it in that way, right? Like, we would just get, like, a Super Saiyan Goku Dokkan Fest, and then, or not a Super Saiyan Goku, Kaioken Goku Dokkan Fest, and then they could sort of, like, build it around that. What other movies could they still do? I think the Metal Cooler movie now, and then, of course, also the Cooler's Revenge are pretty well represented. Movie 7 is Android 13. I do think there's actually quite a bit they could still do from that Android 13 movie, believe it or not. I think Super Saiyan Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks as a trio could be a pretty interesting unit they could drop. The whole, like, basis around that movie, essentially, too, especially the Japanese title, I think is literally, like, the 3 Super Saiyans, right? Like, you know, so I think all 3 of them together as a card would work. We already have, you know, Goku sort of, like, Spirit Bomb absorbed, like, sort of like attack from the end of the movie, so obviously we wouldn't need that. And then I also think, like, 14 and 15, they should get individual cards, Androids 14 and 15. I see no reason why they shouldn't just have their own cards, especially it could really help, like, you know, the Android category team and Artificial Life Form and stuff like that. You know, I feel like we can get a 13, 14, and 15 sort of like LR card, and then I think Fusion Android 13, they actually dropped a lot. How many Fusion Android 13 cards are there in Dokkan? There's a lot, but, like, there's 80 from, like, when the game first started, right? There's two. Okay, there's 2. There's the Int one and the Tech free-to-play one. And then, of course, the Dokkan Fest transforms, right, into the AGL Fusion 13. But I feel like Fusion 13 should get a solid unit, right? Like, you can kind of see how, you know, some of these movies, right, like, they could do a massive celebration around the Android 13 movie, right? You know, maybe we could get Part 1, Dokkan Fest, Fusion Android 13. Part 2 could be, like, you know, an LR Super Saiyan Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks. And then they could, like, EZA AGL 13 as well. Like, there actually is a lot of different things like that they could do for a lot of these celebrations, which I think would actually be very exciting. I would be okay with that, right? Like, I love Dokkan. I want to see it continue, and a lot of these movies we could still do stuff from. And then even the Bojack movie. The Bojack movie is one of my favorites because of Gohan. I feel like we could potentially get... So, you know, Gohan fights in 3 different forms in that movie, base, Super Saiyan, and Super Saiyan 2. I feel like we could get a base Gohan Dokkan Fest from that movie who potentially transforms all the way to Super Saiyan 2 or something like that. And then we do need, like, a full power Bojack who's good as well, right? And it's like they could do a celebration around that, and then they'd ease the Int LR Bojack at the same time. Right, so Dokkan does still have a lot of avenues to go through for big-time celebrations, which could be fun. And then, of course, what is the... Yeah, because movie 8 is Broly, movie 9 is Bojack, right? Then movie 10 is Broly again, and then movie 11 is, of course, everyone's favorite Bio Broly. Oh, the Gogeta movie? I feel like they actually could drop a Dokkan Fest Super Saiyan 3 Goku from that movie. Like, you know, Goku, we already have one, basically, of that exact moment, but it's with, like, old-ass animations, right? Like, they easily could give us that Goku, like, rushing down with that attack. That could easily happen. There's Boss Rush, right? Boss Rush is very easy. I do like to, you know, do videos and all of the content. Let's go ahead and get the nice reward, the 35 stones. I know people love Boss Rush for that reason, right? Give us those delicious stones, but... There we go. Again, I like to record all the content, even if it's something easy like Boss Rush. Let me know what you guys think of any of the ideas of what they could do for movie characters in the future. Still a lot of stuff they could do. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll catch y'all next time.